Hear he, hear he. I'd like to formally welcome you all to the PTZOptics Courtroom. We are live the last Wednesday of the month at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. We have a very exciting show for you today, and if it doesn't give it away by where I'm sitting, then take a closer look. We are talking about live streaming and video production in courtrooms, a space that is very popular when it comes to PTZ cameras. And today we're going to dive into the benefits of using PTZ cameras in the courtroom space, security features and considerations, and also remote production in courtrooms. So we've got a really exciting show for you today. I'd like to introduce you to the jury today. I have John with me on the jury. How you doing, John?
Guilty. I'm doing great, Tess. It's great to be here with you. And yeah, I'm excited to see how the court goes today. I'm feeling mellow. I'm feeling ready to talk about AV in courtrooms. But before we do, I want to talk about the PTZ Optics Share Your Vision. So if you don't know, if you have one of our PTZ Optics cameras out there, whether it's a PTZ camera or a box camera, you can use hashtag Share Your Vision to send us directly to you so we can see exactly how you're using our cameras. So hashtag share your vision on Instagram, on LinkedIn, Twitter, wherever you like to use your social media, and show us what you're doing. So here we have JYT Media, who used hashtag share your vision, and they're shooting a pickleball game with our PTZ cameras. I
Very
believe that's
fun.
a Move SE. So, you can take them outside the studio into a court and showcase the pickleball action with a PTZ camera. So, like I said, if you have a camera of ours or if you're interested in sharing a little bit of your setup, use hashtag share your vision and tell us a little bit how you're using our cameras.
Thank you, John. We are so excited to bring you into our courtroom today and share a little bit of an experience of a real live application of PTZ optics cameras being used in a courtroom. Paul has built a case study for us that he's going to share with you in just a moment here so you can get some hands-on experience of what it looks like to implement cameras in a courtroom system. All this and more is coming up next.
Hey everybody, Paul here with PTZ Optics, and I am coming to you from Reston, Virginia, where I'm at BeInCourt, our courtroom audiovisual system that I cannot wait to show you. Come over and meet Greg Fechner. Greg, how are you?
Good to see you, Paul.
And his team, Philip and Chris, are here as well. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
Hey guys, I'm Philip Kaiser, CTO at BeInCourt. Really excited to be with you today.
And Chris Vance, senior architect engineer, as well. Excited to show you what we got going on.
And I'm Greg Fechner. I'm the VP of Business Development for BeInCourt.
So Greg, why don't you tell us a little bit about your role here and a little bit about BeInCourt?
Yeah, so I've been with BeInCourt for about a year, and my role is to help courts find courtroom technology solutions, right, that are in person or in a hybrid environment. So we've built out this facility, we call it our Courtroom Experience Center, and this facility is designated to help our court clients understand our commitment to the market, right? Building out a facility, a mock courtroom environment where they can actually see and put their hands on the technology that may go into their facility, but also doing it rather than doing it just live. We also have them participate in a hybrid fashion because that's the way courts are operating today, in person and in a hybrid environment.
It must be incredible to show a Zoom session in this type of environment for courtrooms, judges, people in court systems to be able to get this. What inspired you guys to build this system here in Virginia?
Yeah, so as you said, the court folks need an environment where they can see the technology they're about to implement into their into their spaces firsthand. So being able to show our commitment to the market and bring that technology and allow them to come in virtually or in person and see the latest innovations in technology for courtroom audio and video capabilities is really, really important.
I have to say, I mean, I am blown away. I mean, Kev, just show this for a second here. We have got a huge space. We're going to walk you through all of the technology here. Kevin's showing a Studio Pro that's used for different areas of the court. We've got a PTZ camera. There's Zoom. We're going to dig into all of this with you guys. So feel free to ask questions in the chat. This is an exciting space. But why don't you start by walking us through this multi-camera solution? What are the cameras used for, and how is it benefiting the court?
Yeah, absolutely. So Philip, I'll let you field this one, and we'll...
Yeah, absolutely, Paul. So in this Courtroom Experience Center, we've got 3 cameras. Currently, they are focused on the judge and the witness, typically. And then we have a camera that is also focused on each of the other counsel tables. Most of our courts are going to need a minimum of 3 cameras to give that type of view. And some of our courtrooms and judicial systems out west require a minimum 4 cameras, one on each of the respondents as well as each of the counsel tables. Those cameras are typically fixed, or they could be set up with a Zoom preset or even a PTZ preset, where we're focused in on a unique space or place in the courtroom. But most of the time they are fixed where they need to be so that they get a consistent recording every time.
Yeah, I mean, this is really, really incredible. So what we're seeing here is a live Zoom call. We're bringing in Chris and Phil. Obviously, I'm sure you guys bring in other people during the court systems, but you've also got a 3-camera setup in Zoom, which I'm sure you can spotlight, pin, full screen,
Absolutely.
Things of that nature. So how are you ensuring high definition audio and video for all participants? Because we have people in person, and then we also have people who are virtual. Can you kind of walk us through how you're doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead,
Sure
Chris.
can. Yes, I'll take that one. Quite simply, all of the audio in the courtroom is brought into a digital signal processor, as well as any collaboration suite. We bring that in digitally as well into the same DSP. That digital signal processor is then performing a mix. It's performing an EQ. It's also taking a look at echo cancellation technology and feedback loop detection to ensure that all parties are getting a great audio experience. We do a lot of work in tuning out that room and making sure that all of that audio is clean and clear, as well as all the levels on Zoom or Teams or WebEx.
Beautiful. Now, I'd love to get into this touchscreen here. This is just designed specifically for courtrooms. Chris, I understand you are one of the programmers behind this. Why don't you walk us through this really cool touchscreen here?
So this user interface was derived over a committee of judges that the company got early on that went over the iconography, went over the functions, and what came out of that committee was this interface that we see on the screen. What we see is a list of main functions at the top, all oriented around functions that the court needs in the room at any given point in time, and designed to be activated or changed with 1-2 button hits at most, to make it quick and easy to use, very intuitive. Walk up, start hitting buttons, see the room react with little to no training.
Wow. This is such a cool touchscreen. If I was a judge, this is what I would want in my courtroom. And it's just designed top to bottom. I see you have annotation capabilities. You have the ability to preview things. And Craig, you were explaining to me that sometimes you don't want to show things to the jury until it's approved by the judge. Is there a system built in for that?
Absolutely, yeah. So oftentimes in proceedings, what will happen is an attorney may want to present evidence to the participants, and they need to get approval from the judge to be able to do that, right? So that's where the preview button actually comes in play. So if you'll see actually at the bench when we do this, right? If we wanted to show a piece of evidence, right? Say we want to go to Air Media, you'll see this screen as you come around. Say perhaps this is the evidence that we want to show, right? Well, the only person that's seeing this evidence right now is the judge.
I see.
The only way for this to be shown on the exterior monitors in the room is if the judge approves it and presses that view all button. So as soon as he does that, he or she does that, that approves the evidence to be shown, and it is then released to the court.
I mean, this is just one example of how well thought out the control systems are for courtrooms. I've really been impressed. Instead of starting from scratch, you guys have thought it through with years of experience, and I really find that exciting. Now let's talk a little bit about the audio. You know, what we noticed here, we're talking to remote guests. Our remote guests are hearing us. You have something called a SoundSphere audio system. Can you explain how this works?
Yeah, I'll take a quick stab at it, and then I'll let Philip chime in. But essentially what SoundSphere is, it's a directed audio source that's built specifically for courtrooms, and we've had this unit specifically designed for us and built for us for this unique purpose, right? It provides audio capture and reflection of audio at the station, where audio is king in the courtroom, right? So every courtroom must capture the audio for the record, right? And that record is then put into, is then approved, right? So making sure we capture that is very, very important, and SoundSphere is a big part of that. So Philip, if you want to elaborate.
Yeah, Paul, as Greg said, audio is king in the courtroom. What's really great about this technology is that it runs on a single Ethernet cable. So it really simplifies cabling in the courtroom. We don't need separate audio cables, separate power cable. It's a PoE switch that is supplying all the power. That really helps to simplify in setting it up. It helps to simplify installing it in older courtrooms, and really helps to, I think, drop that cost. Because the audio is now local to the user, we don't have to worry about a lot of the acoustics of the room. So things like I'd say wood or metal or marble, tall ceilings, a lot of that I guess acoustical energy, it goes away from all the reflections in the echo in the courtroom and allows us to get a much better and cleaner experience. The users then obviously appreciate that. We've also built in headphone jacks into each of the bases, so we are ADA compliant as well. So, being able to also route interpretation mixes into the headphone jacks if we need to, it gives us a lot of flexibility because of that AVB audio video bridging technology to route audio anywhere in the courtroom that we need to. So.
Yeah, I'm just putting on these headphones now, and it is nice. Even though I can hear you directly through this speaker, which I see you have multiple of throughout the space, putting on those headphones, sometimes in a busy area, depending on the acoustics, this can be preferred, even especially if someone is a little, not quite as loud of a speaker. Maybe someone's joining via Zoom and doesn't have the best audio. This improves the judge and the jury, everyone's ability to hear what's going on.
One additional function of that is the sidebar, right? So there are oftentimes in a proceeding where a client or two attorneys may want to go into a sidebar to discuss an aspect of the proceeding. They can actually take those headphones, plug it into our SoundSphere device, right, and tune into their specific stations, and they can only hear each other through the headphones, and nobody else in the proceeding can hear that. So it's a very unique aspect of what we do, bringing SoundSphere and the multiple headphone jacks into the solution.
Now let's talk about your video conferencing integration. I know there's Zoom, there's Teams, there's other solutions out there. How does your system integrate with video communication solutions?
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll talk a little bit about that, just because it's important to understand that post-COVID and the pandemic, a lot of different courts are selecting a lot of different conferencing platforms, right? So BeInCourt, as a solution, we've made a specific focus on being conference platform agnostic, being able to tie into any particular platform that a court uses, but bring this same functionality to that platform. So Phil, if you want to elaborate as well.
Sure. So Paul, as Greg said, it's basically a digital connection of the collaboration platform into the audio platform, into the video as well. We do have some very tight integration into Zoom. Zoom does allow us to talk to a Zoom room through our software, so we're able to present a customer to judicial a very simplified Zoom interface to be able to mute, unmute audio or video, see if someone is raising up their hand, and then even join a Zoom call or in one, all from within our software. We do integrate into Teams and WebEx. There are some limitations as far as cameras and the quantity of cameras on those platforms. However, we do create a matrix of the video in the courtroom and can present that to any of those collaboration suites. So we kind of take the strengths and weaknesses of them all and work around them and build out a solution that I think is going to provide the best possible experience.
Now, when we're talking about Zoom, we're talking about presentation technology, what do you offer for digital evidence presentation?
Yeah, so that's a very important aspect of the courtroom technology, right? Attorneys being able to come in and present their case and be able to show a laptop connection or be able to show a document camera. So on our touch panel, if we go to the presentation tab, you'll see here the sources that they can select from. For example, I have Air Media selected at this point. If I select you all at this point, the slide from the Air Media device is actually showing up. We can also do that with the document camera. If I select document camera and view all, we can now then present the image on that document camera.
So everything on here
Yes.
is shown. Wow.
In addition to that, say there's during a proceeding, somebody wants to highlight a specific piece of evidence, right? So we have the ability to go into annotation mode that allows for somebody an attorney to point out a specific piece or a piece of information in that evidence. For example, maybe we're highlighting the FCC ID number on this device, right? And the presenting attorney wants to say, okay, hey, this is the piece of information that I want to share. Well, the defense attorney can then actually say, well, you know what? I actually think that we need to be focusing on this aspect of the right. So each participant within the proceeding has the ability to be able to share that information and give their input and be able to present that to the participants.
So there's multiple touch screens, multiple people can be annotating on the same evidence.
Absolutely.
Wow. That is the first time I've ever seen anything like that. Very incredible. Now, let's talk about accessibility. So, I know that there sometimes are something called limited English proficiency. We do, some types of sign language. Explain to me how you make this more accessible through the technology.
Yeah, absolutely. So, obviously, being able to account for folks with disabilities or limited English proficiencies is very, very important when we talk about courtroom proceedings. So, we have the ability to help those folks, right? And we have it in a mode that we call interpretation. So Chris, I'll actually let you talk a little bit about our interpreter mode.
Yeah, so here we see on this, what Greg's currently presenting from his laptop, is you see the three different modes that we can administer through interpretation. The first is consecutive, that's just bidirectional, everybody can hear and be heard. But the interesting ones are the simultaneous to LAP. From here, it actually creates a private mix for the interpreter devices and the LAP devices that we've enabled in this mode, and allows them to have that duplex audio off the courtroom floor so that it can be removed from business, so those interruptions can be done on the side. So the interpreter will hear everything that's going on in the courtroom. They can communicate that to the LEP's native language, and then also, as if the LEP has any questions for the interpreter, they can speak and the interpreter will hear them, so they can have a bidirectional conversation. And then the simultaneous to court is just the other way around. It's where the interpreter can hear the limited English proficient client speaking in their native language and then communicating that back to the court. So that's how these functions are designed to work.
Yeah,
and all that works with the base stations and the headphone jacks.
Yeah, one important feature of that is the simultaneous back to the court. I think it's important to highlight that aspect of the system a little bit, because oftentimes it's important for a judge to be able to hear the LEP speaking in their native tongue whilst the interpreter is interpreting to English, so they know that they're speaking and interpreting at the same time, right? So we present typically a 10 to 15% bleed over of that audio back into the courtroom, so they can hear that that native language as well as the interpreter interpreting back, which is a unique feature of BeInCourt.
Wow. Now, let's talk about a real-world case study. Some of the customer that's had been successful with this. I'm sure you have plenty of those to share. Is there one that comes to mind?
Yeah, absolutely. So, BeInCourt has been very successful in serving our clients. We're actually serving one of the largest circuit courts in the country, currently deploying hundreds of courtrooms with this technology.
Wow, that's incredible. Now, let me go to my next page. We're rolling along here, guys. This is a really fun live stream. If you've got any questions, let us know. The folks from BeInCourt are here to answer them. What are some of the emerging trends that you're seeing in courts? Obviously, the world has changed significantly in the past several years. What are you noticing out there?
Absolutely, Paul. So we spoke a little bit about this, off camera, but the evolution of courtroom technology has really advanced over the last 5 years, right? As we all know, pre-pandemic, technology in the courtroom, every proceeding was in person, right? Everybody was forced to go to the courtroom, whether it be for a traffic stop or something more serious. So you had to be in person in that building. Then the pandemic hits, right, and everything is shifted to being remote, right? Everybody had to. The courts were forced to adopt technology that allowed for remote proceedings. That is where BeInCourt has really strived to help our clients, right? Being able to serve our clients virtually, and so being able to bring in the Zoom or the Teams aspect of these proceedings, and saving the courts a lot of time and money, frankly, when you talk about a judge, as an example, doing hearings every morning for those folks that may be in a jail, as opposed to having the sheriff bring people from the jail to his courtroom, on a every half an hour, 45-minute basis. They can now go through these hearings at every 10 minutes by doing it via Zoom or Teams. That's incredible. So yeah, the technology has really advanced over the last several years, and it's continuing to evolve. Right, we're seeing trends in the market that allow for this technology to be more accessible to those courts that aren't as financially well off as the big courts. Right. We have a lot of small counties and jurisdictions and districts out there that are financially strapped, and they need this technology, but aren't able to obtain it. And I think that's where we're seeing a big evolution in the technology. The cost of technology is coming down, and it's allowing for these smaller courts to have the accessibility to provide the technology that they need, or to gain access to the technology that they need. So we're really excited about being able to continue to be innovative and bringing these types of solutions to those folks.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of that too here at PTZOptics with our brand new Hive remote camera control solution, and that allows, a lot of courtrooms are managed by an IT or AV manager who has to manage multiple spaces in multiple courtrooms. So in a moment, we're going to be showing you PTZOptics Hive and the ability to remotely control and manage multiple courtrooms, because obviously, while we're giving the judge so much great control, he or she is not going to become an AV expert overnight, and they rely on their IT managers and AV managers in the larger court systems. So for those of you who are IT managers out there and have to manage multiple spaces across campuses, across buildings, PTZOptics Hive allows you to remotely manage all of the camera settings, whether you're zooming in, focusing, and things like that. So we'll show you that in a moment. But before we wrap this up, I want to go through each station because I feel like you really thought out each of these spaces.
Absolutely.
This is probably the judge area.
No, this is actually the podium, the
This
witness.
is the witness podium.
The witness podium, right? Or the presenting podium, I should say. So we'll actually start over here, right?
Okay.
So what you might see as you're coming into the room, right? You'll find two attorney tables. You would see your prosecution and your defense, right?
Got it.
These tables allow for the attorneys to come and their clients to sit and be able to connect a laptop to their to the system and be able to present evidence, right? Or be able to connect their headphones and be able to have that private sidebar as you know as we spoke about earlier, right? If they're actually presenting to the court and all the participants, they would come to the podium, right? The podium allows you the capability of presenting evidence, right? As we talked about, being able to show that document camera and be able to annotate, right, as we showed, right? Being able to present evidence from their phone, right? Or from the BYOD device. So what we'll do is I'm going to actually go ahead and disconnect the click share or the wireless presentation there and be able to connect to it from my phone. So what we're going to do is we're quickly going to go to our Wi-Fi settings. We're going to select Air Media, right? That is now selected. Now what I want to do is be able to show this device on the screen. So I'm going to go to share my screen. I'm going to select the Air Media device, and it's going to ask for a code. This code allows for security, so not just anybody can show whatever they want in the courtroom, right? So I hit the code, hit OK, and now what you're going to find here in a moment is my screen is now up on the screen in the courtroom. Now this is a great technology for people using their phone every single day, right? They're capturing images, they're capturing videos, of things, events that are happening. This allows, hey, Your Honor, I want to show a piece of evidence, that was recorded on my phone, and then they'd be able to pull up their phone and be able to show that evidence to the courtroom, right? So that's just one aspect of being able to show evidence. So being able to do it from your computers, being able to do it from your wireless or your personal device, being able to do it from the document camera, like we showed earlier. So all of those functions are done typically here at the podium station, right? As we move over, as we move over to the bench, obviously this is where the judge would sit and run the proceeding, right? So the judge also has the capability of being able to dictate what is being seen on screen, right? So we talked a little bit about that, being able to preview it before that evidence is being shown to all the participants in the proceeding. So this is the home base for the judge. He or she can control all aspects of the proceeding from the bench and from their touch panel. And then finally, we have the witness station. The witness is obviously in any court proceeding. The judges or the attorneys are asking their questions and the witness is answering those questions. They also have the ability to annotate, right? So we talked about showing that annotation capability. Maybe the attorney says, okay, I think the accident happened here. The witness can then annotate from this touch panel and say, no, I think it happened here. So they have that capability as well.
Wow. All right, guys. Well, we are going to be answering questions in the chat. We are going to be showing you Hive so that you can control the PTZ cameras in here, of course, securely. And we'll be talking about the security features for an application like this. But thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and we will see you in the chat. See you soon.
Enjoyed that insightful video. A special thank you to Paul Richards and BeInCourt for touring that courtroom with us today. We hope you enjoyed it. Before we move on with today's content, I did want to mention we have an amazing giveaway today. We're giving away a PTZOptics Move SE, an auto tracking camera, perfect for courtrooms or whatever application that you're looking for live streaming. We're giving that away at the end of the show. I'm about to place the link in the chat. There's still time to enter, so hang tight to the end of the show. And yeah, now we're going to have a little bit of a surprise from John for you.
That's right, Tess. So you got a little bit of hints at Hive, and if you don't know, Hive is a product coming very soon to PTZOptics, and Hive is an all-in-one solution. So not only will you be able to control your cameras, PTZ cameras, because it supports over 400 types of cameras, but you'll also be able to record, switch, and enable things like auto tracking, even for cameras that don't have auto tracking. So you got a little bit of hints and stuff looking at it, so I want to give a little bit of a hands-on, so you have a little more detail and a little more information. So we were just looking at that courtroom, and here we are, full control inside of the courtroom because of Hive. So now here we have Hive. So Hive has integrated 3 different cameras. So we have our 2 Studio Pros here. Here's a Studio Pro, which is our box camera. There's no PTZ options for that, but there's a lot of courtrooms that want no option for PTZ. So not only will you be able to integrate box cameras, but you can also integrate PTZ cameras, like
Does
our
the
Move.
Zoom functionality work with it?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, thanks for mentioning that, Tess. So with box cams, there's no PTZ, but there's no PT, but there is Z, and you're able to zoom. But as you can see, no pan or tilt, but you're able to zoom up to 20x. I believe it's 20 with the Studio Pro, right? And back out with an optical lens that the Studio Pro has. So you'll see that we have 2 different Studio Pros in here and the PTZ Move 4K 20x. So if you don't know, we have the Move 4K, which is a 4K camera from 12x, 20x, or even 30x, which is really helpful for those large courtrooms, those very big spaces. So let me show you a little bit in terms of camera control here. So like I mentioned, not only can you control things like panning and tilting directly in the software here, as you're used to with these little crosshairs, but you can also control zooming in and out, zooming in, all directly in the Hive. And only the PTZOptics products are going to be Hive linked, which allows instant integration. So you're able to instantly send a camera out to another location if you want. Say you have multiple courtrooms or courthouses that you would like to all control in Hive. You can even go in and manually control different studios. So you could easily switch into another studio, control those cameras, switch back to your other studio. So a little bit more into camera control. You'll see all on the right side here, there's different options for adjusting, autofocus zones and focus modes. But I'm going to show you some of the camera tools here, like the ability to control PTZ controls directly with your mouse, which is what we call the joystick, as you can see here. Hive also allows integration with joysticks as well, like our Super Joy that I have here next to me. You'll also see the ability to do what we call a fast frame or click to center. Fast frame is going to allow you to quickly frame on a subject by double clicking. It'll focus on that object wherever you want to zoom in the frame and instantly push into that frame. So let's see, we'll zoom out here with our standard control, and I'll show you fast frame. Fast frame is going to allow you to click to center. It's allow you to quickly click and center the frame based on where you click. You'll also see down below here I have different presets. So you're able to quickly cue yourself back to the presets that you'd like. You're able to instantly adjust different frames in your room. So these can all be set up ahead of time instantly, or I could instantly go and make one right now within seconds. So here's a new frame, instantly hit the plus button there, boom, we have a new preset. So I can go back to the previous shot and then back to the preset we just created. So really simple and easy to use in that manner. You can even do the same with a non-PT camera. So here we have our Studio Pro, and I'm going to zoom out and instantly create a preset like that. I want to zoom back in. You can click on the other preset that you had made and zoom instantly like that. So really simple. And I did mention that you can integrate and control other studios directly in the Hive. And you don't want to do that by yourself. You want to do that obviously with a team. You don't want to be alone when you're controlling all of this gear and data. You can definitely do that instantly on your own, but you can also share your studio. So right now you can see the share button up top here. You can see that there's someone who's joining here. I don't have producer permissions, which allows you to kind of take control over the entire studio to the degree of sharing, but you'll be able to share. You can see that Chris from BeInCourt has control, and he's the main producer on this setup here. So we're going to go back to the center here. I want to focus on a little bit more of the imagery. You can adjust all of your camera's image settings. Almost all of the camera image settings. So things like sharpness, the color hue, the contrast, luminance of your camera. So you can easily do that on the fly. Say if I want a very non-contrasty image. Who wants that though? Let's bring it back a little bit here. So yeah, you have a lot of different options in terms of even full-on effects. You want to turn your whole courtroom black and white. You can do that.
Why.
One click.
You can.
If you want to take a really serious day and turn your whole courtroom black and white. Even things like auto balance and compensation are all built in here. And there's even other views. You can change the outlook. You can change all the views so you have multiple inputs all in front of you, so you can easily kind of switch and click between them. Or even enable auto tracking like you can do with the PTZ cameras like the Move 4K. So obviously, when a software allows you to control video, you want to control audio as well. So here's your ability to add in your audio sources. It'll search just like you're used to with most encoders, and it'll show you all your available audio sources. We don't have any connected to this computer right now, so you're not going to find anything here. So that is kind of like our general overview. Like I said, Hive is not only for camera control. It allows for enabling things like auto tracking, controlling advanced features, and it also allows you to really truly monitor your sources. So you can keep all of your sources in one place and have general monitoring over all of your sources. So if you're live, you can monitor your stream health. If you just want to know how your cameras are sending video data and how much video data are they sending, you can do that all here. You can adjust the streaming profile, the outputs, whether it's HDMI or NDI or SDI, and Hive also allows an overall output. So like I mentioned, it does streaming. You can also just simply output your entire video feed program via NDI. And as you can see at the top there, you can also control things like recalibrate your camera or reboot it if it is Hive linked like only PTZOptics cameras are. So that's a little summary. I tried my best. Paul's the one who's been doing mainly the Hive overview. So I hope
well done, John.
Thank you. I hope I did a pretty good job showcasing that. Is there anything else I missed, Tess, from the Hive that we could highlight?
Something that will be cool for courtrooms is if you need to share the Hive with someone else. So if you wanted to cover the share button.
Yeah, I can't really show it because I'm not a producer in their setup on,
you're not.
On Hive. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you're not a producer, you're not able to fully share. What I could do is switch over to our demo, but I'm not going to do that because it'll take a little bit of time. But yeah, like I mentioned, you can see that you can hit the share button, and that share button allows you to share and send out the Hive via a link. And there's different team roles. So you're able to allow people to control cameras, allow people to just be a viewer if you want them just to see the individual inputs in the software. And over time, we're going to add more team roles so you can really have a granular touch onto what you want people to have access to. So I think that's really the overview of Hive, and I think it's time to move in and talk a little bit more about AV in courtrooms. And let's jump on over to this little presentation I made here.
Perfect.
So with PTZOptics, we try to hit as many different marketing verticals as possible. And one of the major marketing verticals is courtrooms, law and courtrooms. So there's many options for courtrooms. Box cameras, as I mentioned, like our Studio Pro here, is a very popular option. So the Studio Pro is a box camera. It's 1080p, it's HDMI, USB. It also has NDI built in directly. So if you're looking for something that doesn't have the pan tilting options, that's a great choice. And then, of course, we have our PTZ cameras. So let's move into and learn a little bit more about the overall market and the overall kind of view of courtrooms as we see them in the AV industry. So obviously, you want your cameras to have really great picture quality, crisp, great in low light scenarios. Hopefully your courtroom is not very dim, but if it is, our Move 4K is going to be able to capture it perfectly. So obviously you want to make sure things are secure. You want to know that you are shooting only things that you want to be seen in the courtroom. You don't want the jurors to be seen. So security is a huge part of AV in courtrooms. And then efficiency. You want things to work. You always want them to work and be working as soon as you turn them on. As soon as you open up Hive, you want them to immediately be working, right? And reliability and automation is a huge part of that as well. Enabling auto tracking instantly or having that always enabled is options that we always want to have ready to go. And then, of course, remote accessibility. And that brings us to Hive. Hive is the most remote tool that you're ever going to be able to use. You can access your studio from anywhere around the world as long as you have an internet source, and you can download it and have it offline mode via an application, or you can just use your browser to, like I said, control it from anywhere around the world. So you can see here that there's approximately 1,700 courtrooms in the United States, and there's a lot of AV in those courtrooms already. Some of them are trying to upgrade and slowly get to 4K or just improve performance. And I think PTZOptics is the best company to go with because we care, and we have many case studies to kind of prove to you why it's valuable and why the PTZOptics cameras are great for courtrooms. So right here you have an image that showcases some of our older cameras, our box cameras, and a PTZ camera up top. So you have multiple angles and options with the PTZ camera there. And you'll see I'm recommending the Move 4K. It's an advanced auto tracking camera that's available in 12, 20x, and 30x optical zooms. And overall, I won't bear you with all this text. You can read it if you'd like, but we're at a point in time where everything is becoming more advanced. Everything needs more cameras. We need more devices to control these cameras, and Hive mixed with our PTZ cameras and our box cameras are really trying to simplify that for you. We're trying to take all this complicated technology and shrink it all down in one easily shareable platform that's secure, and you always know that your data is not being shared or leaked. So moving on, we have great case studies. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more about these case studies, you can head to ptzoptics.com/solutions, where you'll able to see more on law or our courtroom options here. And I think it's under government, actually, if you're looking. Alrighty, so moving on, I want to show you little workflows here. So we have some previous cameras called Z-Cams, which are box cameras. Also, the Studio Pro is a great box camera as well to showcase no PTZ, no PT options. There is a 12x zoom, I believe, and stay tuned. We love our box cameras. And here I wanted to showcase how you can integrate not only box cameras, but a PTZ camera, as you can see here on the left-hand side, where we're showcasing a little demo of a courtroom. So a little bit larger than what we just saw with Paul, but it's showcasing not only an NDI decoder going to your TV if you want to show some of the inputs, as well as some of the different box cameras and the encoder all in one. Alrighty, so this basically will cover your general view of the courtroom. Like I said, most people, it's not okay to show your jurors, so that's where maybe box cameras come into play, or you can lock down your pan and tilt options on a PTZOptics Move SE or Move 4K. Alrighty, now let's talk about some of the specifics. So you heard me mention box cameras, obviously, like our Studio Pro here again, and there's the Move 4K and the Move SE. So really, I have these two mixed up here. I just noticed that switched. The Move 4K is obviously 4K. The Move SE is 1080p. And they have the same in terms of outputs: NDI, power over Ethernet, USB, and HDMI. So these are options. If you want pan and tilt options, you have our great leading line here with the Move SE and the Move 4K. And then you have our box cameras here, which will eventually have 4K. Alrighty, so like I was mentioning and Tess mentioned, you can manage multiple courtrooms all in one location. So with Hive, you're able to segment your different courtrooms. It could be different locations, as you're seeing here on that image on the right hand side. And this is not only going to help you manage all of your setups, all the different productions, that you may have. You could even, be in charge of running different courtrooms as well as your own personal studio. Who knows what you do on your free time? You may want to have all of that in one location so you can easily open it up and get going right away. So a lot of these people who are in charge of the courtrooms, remoting in has become a huge thing because not everyone can be in every place, right? If you have access to a lot of these courtrooms, you may have to drive 30 minutes, an hour to get to another courtroom just to, try a new SDI cable. We're throwing out the cables. We're moving into the future of IP video, and that comes with the Hive. Like I mentioned, the Hive is a camera controller, a switcher, and a recording platform all in one. So it's great to allow you to monitor your equipment, to remotely access your cameras and control them, adjust anything on the fly, and it makes it easy and simple for anyone. Here we have some Hive workflows. So obviously it's going to be different for everyone. It's going to be different depending on who you are, what kind of setup you have. But here we have 3 different setups, and they get progressively more intense, I would say. So first we have your local setup. This could be offline, or what we call local mode with Hive, and that's just simply showing a PTZ camera, and that could be a third-party camera, because like I mentioned, Hive supports over 400 camera models, and it's not just PTZOptics cameras, but only PTZOptics cameras are Hive linked, which allows for instant integration and control. So what you'll see here is a PTZ box camera as well as a Move 4K 20X that you can see is Hive linked. So that is on a local network. You don't even need to be fully online if you want. If you want to just take it offline, you can put it in local mode. And then we're jumping over to the upper right hand side where it gets a little more complicated because you're now controlling your studio remotely. So now you're going to be on your local area network, and you're going to connect and allow this remote producer from a remote location to control the cameras in your studio. So you'll see on the right hand side there you have the computer that's controlling Hive Studio, as well as a local computer that has Hive Studio set up in the courtroom itself. And that'll help you be able to control it from literally anywhere as long as you have access to that Hive. Alrighty, and then the last one is really for the larger cases, the multiple courtrooms that you have spread across the state, maybe across the whole country. You can now access them all from one computer. That computer can access your Studio 1, your Studio 2, your Studio 3, and those could be all different courtrooms, and those could be all with different hardware and setups. You can have access to all of them and easily manually switch through them in one platform. Alrighty. When it comes to courtroom, security is not something to scoff at. We reliably always stamp NDAA compliance with our PTZ cameras, and our PTZOptic cameras comply with NDAA from 2019, Section 889, ensuring they do not contain components from restricted companies. This compliance is crucial for organizations that prioritize security and adhere to federal regulations. And for more information, you can refer to our handy-dandy camera documentation. And then with Hive having a remote platform, some might be worried that it's not secure, but we have extremely secure protocols and extreme security. Obviously, we have very complex passwords that you as the user have control over, and Hive is strictly controlled through admin-only invitations and is easily managed with user permissions, excluding settings for temporary access expiration. So you could set and send your studio to someone across the globe. They can access it, and you can set an end time for them. If you want them to access it just for today, you can do that. If you want them to access it for a week or a month, you can also do that as well. It'll open up a calendar, and you can change to however the time you'd like. Alrighty, so obviously remote access is here, and it's here to stay. So we want to make sure that you feel very secure, and we're using Amazon's resilient multi-cloud infrastructure, and that's helping us keep Hive very safe and secure. It's only going to be accessible. We don't retain any information or data at all, and only you have the permission to share your Hive. Alrighty, now I want to get to something a little fun here to kind of review everything that we went over. So there was a lot that was just happening, and I talked a lot about AV and courtrooms, and it may have been overwhelming, and I want to hit on some of those topics that maybe we didn't fully hit on. So we have a little game here called Guilty or Not Guilty. And the way this game works is that it's basically true or false. I'm going to ask my lovely Tess here, true or false, guilty or not guilty. So these are all courtroom AV questions. So stick with us as we go through guilty or not guilty. All right, Ms. Protesto, how are you feeling in the hot seat?
So guilty will be like yes or true, and not guilty will be like no, right?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
I'm feeling pretty good.
You're feeling
Actually,
good?
I'm not. I'm feeling nervous.
Okay, so for more information too, Tess doesn't have the answers in front of her. She's going in blind here. I hope you paid attention, Tess, because we're coming at you. Okay. All right, question number 1. Is using PTZ cameras for live streaming and recording court proceedings appropriate to ensure transparency?
I'm going to say guilty. It
All
does
right.
promote transparency and offer a sense of honesty, maybe, when you're live.
That is correct. Verdict is guilty.
Yay! I
So
got
yeah,
one.
just like you said, you always want to make sure that you are transparent, and it promotes trust integrity when you're doing this. So question number 2, Tess.
Okay.
Should courtroom AV systems rely on non-compliant NDAA cameras for sensitive government application? Guilty or not guilty?
Okay, based on your presentation, I will say not guilty. They must comply with regulations. That one's easy.
That is correct. Verdict is
Yay!
guilty. Yes.
Not guilty.
Yes, sorry. Not guilty.
Right?
Thank you, Tess.
Okay.
No, they must adhere. Of course it's not guilty. Yes,
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Question number 3. Maybe I should reveal them after so you don't have as much of a hint here. Okay. Question number 3. I'll reveal it after I say it. Can centralized management software like Hive streamline the operation of multiple courtrooms from a single interface? Guilty?
Okay.
Yes, it's
Hold
simple.
on, say it again.
Okay. Can centralized management software like Hive streamline the operation of multiple courtrooms from a single interface?
Okay, I'm going to say guilty. Yes, it certainly can.
Verdict is guilty. Yes, it simplifies the management. Hive is a great all-in-one platform that brings all of your cameras or different production spaces in one location.
Okay.
All right. Question number 4. Is it necessary to have real-time equipment monitoring to ensure optimal performance in courtroom AV systems? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty. Absolutely. We need to have real-time monitoring in a courtroom.
Why is that?
That's a good question.
Well, yes, because you want to be as accurate and truthful as possible, right? You want to show and be completely honest and never shy away. There shouldn't be cutting in a courtroom. You should always be active and honest. Alrighty, question number 5. Is remote control of an AV equipment beneficial in maintaining smooth courtroom operations?
Definitely. Yeah, guilty. You want to be able to have immediate access, flexibility on who can control the cameras. Right?
Absolutely. The verdict is
Yay!
guilty, Tess. You are correct. Question
She's
number
stuck.
6. Should courtroom AV systems include proactive alert features to prevent unexpected failures during proceedings?
I would say guilty. Yes.
Why is that?
So that things don't get like messed up, avoiding disruptions.
Exactly. You always can know what's happening before it happens because Hive is there to support you. Like I said, it has real-time monitoring, so maybe there's a camera that's struggling and camera feed drops. Yeah, you might be able to tell if the camera feed drops on your TV, but Hive might be able to let you know before it drops from the TV.
Okay.
Question number 7. Is it acceptable to have PTZ cameras with limited optical zoom capabilities in larger courtroom environments? Guilty, not guilty?
This is a tough one. I'm actually going to say not guilty. I think it's important to have accurate zoom, optical zoom, specific optical zoom, whatever is necessary for the size of the courtroom. So I'm going to say that it's going to be important to them.
Verdict is not guilty.
Yeah.
You need that expansive coverage. Like I said, our Move SC, our Move 4K, and our Link 4K, if you need Dante integration, all come in 12x, 20x, and 30x optical zooms.
I could see cost effectiveness, but at the same time, like...
Well, that's the magic of PTZOptics tests. Our cameras are both cost effective and have great optical
That's
zooms.
right, John.
All right, question number 8.
QVC's going to come after you soon.
Question number 8. Does using PTZOptics cameras in government applications help foster collaboration and decision-making during local meetings and global summits?
Absolutely, because you're able to share the video feed with your community, with remote jurors, if that's a thing. Could be a thing. You're able to share the content expansively, so guilty.
Verdict is guilty. Yes, it ensures seamless communication. Tess, great job.
Wonderful.
Alrighty, question number 9. Should courtroom video systems be capable of being managed remotely to handle issues without needing on-site intervention? Guilty or not guilty, Tess?
Absolutely guilty.
Why is that?
We're going to need to be able to remotely fix things or control things. It's just nice to have, honestly.
Yeah.
And it gives you backup.
Absolutely.
Redundancy.
Yeah, absolutely. So, especially when you're in control or managing multiple courtrooms, it's kind of necessary to be able to control things throughout an online portal or a remote platform like Hive is. And if you don't want to be on the internet, if you don't want to be, accessing it and you only use it in one location, like I said, Hive has a local mode and you can use it anytime you'd like. And you can still enable and switch it off from local and not local and still share your studio. Alrighty, are you ready for your last question, Tess?
Oh, I'm ready.
All right, question number 10, the final question. Should PTZ cameras have discrete mounting locations in courtrooms to maintain decorum? Guilty
I will say
or not guilty?
Guilty. Yes, it's going to be important in a courtroom to not distract people and not scare people, maybe. Just to not get in the way, and PTZ cameras have a way of being able to be discreet. They're fairly small compared to big, giant broadcast cameras. So guilty.
Verdict is guilty. Yes, it ensures minimal distraction. And as Tess said, we have 2 different color schemes. So if you want the white, we have a white option for our PTZ cameras, as well as what we call a gray, a gunmetal. I'm not a gray, right? And here's an option for the gray if you want like a darker option color to show that on camera here. Alrighty, and if you have white walls, we have white PTZOptics cameras as well. Alrighty, so we can try to do our best here. We have a little bit of a Q&A before we give away our Move SE, so I hope you guys are excited about that. So if you guys have any questions, I'm not Paul. That guy can pull any answer out of anywhere from any hat, so I can't do that.
We'll do
but
our best.
I will try my best, as Tess said.
Here's the first comment for you.
What do we got?
Can you read it on the confidence monitor?
No, I can't read that.
It says, John's shirt is so hip.
Oh, wow. Thank you very much.
John is always hip.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That means a lot. I think that's the first compliment I've gotten on a live stream. So
really?
I'm blushing. Thank you.
Yay.
Appreciate that.
What's the next show and expo that PTZOptics will attend? It's actually going to be IBC in Amsterdam. And then we'll be at NAB New York as well.
All right.
Oh, here's a good one.
What's that?
Do we have a price point for Hive? Will it be subscription based?
It will be subscription based. Give me just a minute here. I can pull that up for you.
Let me go to the web page because I'm not. I know we have introductory pricing. We will be offering introductory pricing, and then the price will increase after a certain time period. But I don't want to give you inaccurate information.
Yeah, let's see, because it's not totally live just yet. I want to show you guys. If you guys want to learn more, you can go to ptzoptics.com/hive, and that's what I'm going to show you here right now. What you'll see is our pricing options.
There you
go.
go.
You have free studio access. So something I didn't mention is off the top is that PTZOptics cameras come with Studio or Hive Studio for free if you have one camera.
One camera.
Yeah, that one camera will allow you access to bring in one camera to Hive. And as you can see here on the left-hand side, that allows you just for manual tracking. You're not able to automate auto tracking, but you can still have 5 team members and 5 hours of remote usage. So there are your pricing options. There's currently going to be a discounted launching price. no exact date on launch yet, but if you guys want to join our beta to get current beta access to not only this, but our future firmware and some great new features that we're going to be adding in the future, head to PTZOptics.com/beta, and you can join our beta Discord where you can get some access to some early features, or maybe even get access to Hive. So check out PTZOptics.com/beta. So here you'll see it's all based around your hours of remote usage, and remote usage is someone remotely not being on that network or remotely using the Hive away from the studio's like established location and network. So you'll see as you go up from the standard studio to professional, it takes you up from 10 team members to unlimited amount of team members, and that goes for almost everything on the professional studio tier, which is the highest tier for Hive.
All right, thank you. Scott's asking, what is a typical video audio delay when using Hive? And I do know during the last show, because I did a little research here, we said 70 milliseconds.
Yep, it may vary based on your connection, based on where you're currently located, the internet that you have, as well as the internet that you have at your location for the studio itself. So it really depends, but yeah, it's going to be very quick. It's very speedy. You could see that I'm using this studio here all the way in Virginia and being able to instantly control, and there's really not much delay here at all. So with a quick click of a button, I can instantly zoom, and that's what we call our fast click to center, or that fast frame. So you can see how quick that is. I can immediately pull back from a preset, and you can see just how far we were able to zoom in, and that's a 20x. So imagine a 30x camera in your environment. You could zoom all the way in across a large courtroom.
Here's one we may or may not know from Livestream Hawaii.
Okay.
Will I be able to perform video switching of my remote PTZOptics cameras via Hive Cloud, or will I need to download client to PC?
Okay, video switching remotely. Yeah, so because Hive is a cloud or browser-based application, not only can you download it as an app, but you can use it remotely. And yeah, not only will you be able to camera control, you're able to switch and record, even ISO record your individual inputs separately or your output as well. So yep, you can do that all remotely in the Hive, even switching.
Okay. All right. Kenneth says, has Hive replaced the CMP? No, CMP still exists.
Exactly.
I don't know what the future of CMP will hold, but as of now, they both exist.
Yeah, they definitely both exist, and our team is continuously updating the CMP. That is a free software that will remain a free software. So if you are interested, you can check out our CMP and learn a little bit more about that. If you have like our Generation 2 PTZ optics cameras, you're able to enable auto tracking in the CMP, and just like in Hive, you'll be able to take those cameras and enable auto tracking as well.
What cameras will be supported? What is the connection point? Is it NDI?
Yeah, so I would head to PTZOptics.com/Hive. You'll learn a little bit more about supported cameras there, but there's over 400 camera models that are supported. All the PTZOptics cameras that are currently out will be supported. So the Move SE, the Move 4K, the Link 4K, the Studio Pro, as well as easily accessible webcams. You know, USB webcams, other audio devices that you connect are all supported. There was a second part of that question. What was that, Tess?
It was... Oh. What is the connection point? Is it NDI?
Oh, yes.
That part I
right.
didn't know.
NDI or TSP. So you have a couple different options when connecting. And only our PTZOptics cameras come Hive linked, which allows for instant integration. So you could basically take one of your cameras, pack it up, send it to someone remotely, and they can open it up, connect it right to the internet. Literally connect our camera with one cable, which is Ethernet cable, and it'll power it to, and you can instantly connect to the Hive and that location. So, yeah.
Can we use Hive locally hosted, i.e. not remotely? Love some of the PTZ functions. And you can.
Yes, exactly. You can completely use it remotely.
Locally.
Oh, locally as well as remote. Oh,
Yes.
Not remotely. I see. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. There's an application that you'll be able to download for the Hive that'll allow you to be offline if you'd like, if you want to use your cameras directly offline. and you'll be able to use it locally that way.
And Clinton is waiting to get Hive. There is a wait list, and our developers are quite selective on accepting only a certain amount of people for a certain amount of time to make sure we're getting the best feedback and providing the best results. So please be patient as we continue to accept more people into the beta.
I see Clinton Jones said, then would you need vmix in addition to the Hive for simple productions? Does it allow connections to Facebook and YouTube like vmix does? So yeah, like I mentioned, you can output via NDI your output directly. So say if you have like an NDI decoder and locally in a TV you want to do, whether it's like your courtroom or whether in our studio right now we have an NDI decoder, or you can go live to those platforms via RTMP. So any platform that allows you to grab those RTMP credentials, you can take those, you'll be able to put them right into Hive, and then you'll be able to control it like a switcher, much like vmix.
Are you adding additional cameras to the compatibility list? I know they're open to adding more, but we have over 400, so it's a good start. It should be most of the cameras that are out there.
Yeah, exactly. So most of the PTZ cameras that are on the market, it's over 400 different camera models. All the PTZOptics products obviously are going to be supported, as well as even our beautiful controller like the SuperJoy will also be able to control, and you'll be able to switch from manual local control to your cloud control via the Hive.
All right, John, I think we're ready to get into the giveaway.
Okay, that sounds great. Well, I appreciate you guys for sticking in with the Q&A, and thanks for all the great questions that you guys asked, and I can't wait to see who wins the Move SC today.
All right, I'm
need
going
a drum roll.
to draw a winner here. You must be present in the chat to claim your prize.
She's counting down. She's picking.
Okay, Richard Pine. Are you here, Richard Pine?
All right, Richard Pine, acknowledge yourself in the chat, and you, my friend, will win a Move SE.
Where did my stream go? Will you put Richard Pine in the chat for me?
Yes, I will reach out to Richard Pine.
Link.
P-I-N-E, right?
P-I-N-E. I'm just going to we'll do an assembly line.
All right, there's a Richard P in here, so I hope that's it.
Richard Pine. In the chat?
Richard P. Yep, I just added him, and he said yes.
Oh my gosh, that was so easy.
Congrats, Richard. Thank
thought?
you. You won yourself a Move SE. I don't have one in front of me
pick.
right now, but first pick, that's quite rare. Yes,
1080p
absolutely.
auto tracking camera that is Hive linked. So when Hive comes out, you'll be able to get it and use them together.
Exactly. Thank you, Tess, so much for joining me today.
Thank you, John.
Thank you,
we
Paul.
did it.
Yes, we did it. We made it through without Paul here. Thank you, Paul, if you're watching, for sending us that great video. It really dived deep into the AV and courtrooms, and hopefully the presentation here could also help and boost that with some of the fun game we had here. And yeah, I want to thank you guys. If you want to learn more about Hive, go to PTZOptics.com/Hive. For anything else, all PTZ, you can stay here on the YouTube channel at PTZOptics. And stay tuned. The last Wednesday of every month, we go live here at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's been a great time, guys. Tess, anything else you got to say before we get out of here?
Just a quick request of you guys, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe so we can continue bringing this type of content to you. Again, thanks for watching. Thank you, John. And we will see you next time.
Thanks, everyone.
Hi everyone, Tess here from PTZOptics. Today I'll guide you through updating the firmware for your PTZOptics Move 4K, Move SE, and Link 4K cameras. Let's get to updating. First, open your browser and type in your camera's IP address like this. Now, log in with your admin credentials. Once you're in, look to the left sidebar and click on the System Settings tab. On the System Settings page, find the Check Firmware Version button and click it. Then click Apply to start downloading the latest firmware. You might get a prompt asking you to download multiple files. Just click Allow to proceed. You'll see a download prompt pop up. Click the Keep button to save the changelog file. When another prompt appears, click Keep again to save the firmware file. Next, expand the Advanced section by clicking the arrow beside it. Click the Select File button to open a file browser window. Go to your Downloads folder, select the .img firmware file, and click Open. Then, click Apply to upload the firmware to your camera. A notification will pop up within 1 to 3 minutes, informing you that the firmware upload is in progress. This process will take about 3 to 6 minutes, so be patient and don't interrupt it. After the upgrade, reload your browser to refresh the web interface. Log back in with your admin credentials. To make sure everything loads correctly, press Shift-Control-R to refresh the web UI without cookies or cache. Now, go to the camera config page from the sidebar. Head to the device info section and check if your camera has installed the new firmware. Your camera's firmware is now up to date. I hope this tutorial helped you successfully update your PTZOptics G3 camera firmware. If you found this video useful, please subscribe to our channel for more PTZOptics tutorials. If you encounter any issues, please contact our support team in the description below. Enjoy your upgraded camera and see you next time.